Welcome to Model Walk Explained. In this episode, our story is called Fog Over the Mid-Levels. Our model plays Beatrice, a young orphan who arrives at a mysterious mansion in Hong Kong's mid-levels in 1935. With no beauty, wealth, or powerful family behind her, Beatrice has only her intelligence, dignity, and independence. Those qualities gradually attract Alistair, the wealthy but troubled master of the house. But just as they are about to marry, Beatrice discovers that the mansion is hiding a marriage that was never truly over. She chooses to walk away. Only after both of them lose the lives they once knew can they finally meet again as equals. Fog Over the Mid-Levels. Hong Kong, 1935. Beatrice grows up in the home of her aunt, where she is constantly reminded that she is an unwanted orphan. Her aunt dislikes her quiet nature. Her cousin bullies her. Eventually, she is sent away to a missionary school in the New Territories. The school is harsh. Cold wind blows through the buildings in winter. Summers are hot and airless. The students are often hungry, but complaining is forbidden. Beatrice learns how to endure hardship. What she never learns is obedience. Her only close friend at school becomes seriously ill and eventually dies. Before her death, she tells Beatrice something she will remember for the rest of her life. A person may be poor, but she must never surrender herself to someone else's pity. Those words shape Beatrice. She learns that kindness does not mean weakness, forgiveness does not mean accepting injustice, and being poor does not mean allowing others to decide her worth. On the day she leaves school, Beatrice does not look back. She carries only a few books, an old suitcase, and a determination never to lower her head, simply because the world expects her to. At 18, she finds an advertisement in the newspaper. A wealthy family in Hong Kong's mid-levels is looking for a governess. Beatrice takes the tram to Central and walks uphill toward a large grey mansion hidden behind the mist. Her student is a young girl named Mabel. Mabel is intelligent, curious, and deeply lonely. The master of the house, Alistair, is rarely in Hong Kong. People say he spends much of his time doing business in Southeast Asia. They also say he is difficult, distant, and impossible to understand. Not long after Beatrice moves into the mansion, strange things begin to happen. Late at night, she hears laughter from the upper floor. It is sharp, sudden, almost unnatural, but whenever she asks the servants about it, they insist that she is only hearing the wind moving through the old house. Then, on a rainy night, Alistair finally returns. His car breaks down on the mountain road, and Beatrice helps guide him back toward the mansion with a lamp. He looks at the young woman standing before him and asks, "Are you not afraid of strange men?" Beatrice answers calmly, "What I fear is losing my judgment, not strangers." For the first time, Alistair truly looks at her. After that night, he often invites Beatrice into his study to talk. Alistair has met countless women from wealthy families, dressed in elegant cheongsams and expensive jewellery. But he has never met a poor governess willing to tell him, directly and without hesitation, when he is being arrogant. Beatrice, in turn, begins to see the loneliness hidden beneath his cold manner. Their positions in society could not be more different. Yet when they speak, they somehow seem to stand at the same height. One day, several wealthy young women visit the mansion. Alistair deliberately shows particular attention to one of them. Believing he is about to become engaged, Beatrice decides to resign. Alistair stops her in the garden. "Do you believe poor people have no feelings?" Beatrice looks at him. "It is precisely because I have feelings that I cannot stay here and watch you marry someone else." She continues, "I may have no property, but my soul is as complete as yours." Alistair finally tells her the truth. The woman he loves has always been Beatrice. Their wedding is arranged at a small church in the mid-levels. But just as the vows are about to begin, a lawyer suddenly rises from his seat. Alistair is already married. Beatrice is taken back to the mansion. There, on the upper floor that has remained locked for years, she discovers the truth. Alistair's wife is still alive. He married her overseas when he was young. She later became severely mentally unwell and has remained hidden inside the mansion, under private care. Alistair begs Beatrice to stay. He tells her that the marriage has been dead, in everything but name, for years. Beatrice cries through the night. The next morning, she leaves. She refuses his money. She takes only what belongs to her. Beatrice moves into a small attic room in Wan Chai and begins teaching at a girls' school. Her life is difficult, but every meal she eats and every lamp she lights has been earned by her own work. Years later, a distant relative dies and leaves Beatrice an inheritance. She does not immediately return to Alistair. Instead, she donates part of the money to the school where she once studied. Then she rents a small home overlooking Victoria Harbour. For the first time in her life, Beatrice belongs entirely to herself. And yet, she still thinks of Alistair. Eventually, she returns to the mid-levels, but the mansion is gone. Only blackened walls remain. A former servant tells her what happened. The woman hidden upstairs started a fire before falling to her death. Alistair tried to save her. He survived, but the fire severely damaged his eyesight and cost him one of his hands. Beatrice eventually finds him living alone in a small house in Pok Fu Lam. When Alistair hears her footsteps, he believes he is dreaming. "Do you still want me?" Beatrice asks. Alistair gives a bitter smile. "I have nothing now." Beatrice takes his hand. "Before, you had a mansion and wealth, while I had nothing except myself. That was why I could not marry you." She pauses. "Now I have a life of my own, and you have only yourself. We are finally equal." Outside the window, the sea breeze moves the curtains. Far away, the sound of a Hong Kong tram bell drifts through the city. Beatrice has not returned to rescue Alistair, nor has she returned to surrender herself to him. She stays because, for the first time, she is completely free to choose. Later, Alistair recovers a small amount of sight in one eye. The first thing he clearly sees is Beatrice standing beside the window. She is still not what society would call beautiful, but to him, she is brighter than Hong Kong Harbour at sunrise, because what Beatrice spent her entire life searching for was never someone willing to take her in. It was the freedom to love another person while still belonging completely to herself, and that is where our story ends. If you enjoyed Fog Over the Mid-Levels, please subscribe to Model Walk Explained, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest 4K model shoots, Hong Kong street photography videos, fashion films, and original romance stories. See you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.
I could see in your eyes how I live in your mind. So let's take our time, push the pain aside. Your voice cuts through the noise, soft like the summer air after